All right, how's it going, y'all? Welcome, babe. Welcome. And Lulin Apostle, hello. Welcome to the stream. All right. Today I'm going to be trying to work more on this app, like I do every stream so far. And I did do a lot of stuff recently to this app. I kind of like made sure dark mode and light mode looks decently well. There's some things we got to fix about it. There's something cool I added to the bottom of the page. If you remember before, you had to go into your .env file, you had to change some things, which wasn't the most pleasant developer experience when working on this app. But now, if you wanted to switch between a student or a teacher or unauthenticated, there's buttons down here, and I can just click one. So I'll just click on authenticated. That scrolls to the top of the page, refreshes the page, and now I can test my application without having to worry about the next auth login and all that stuff. So let's go back to teacher. Now I'm logged in as a teacher. I can go to my classrooms. I can view my classrooms. So it just kind of speeds up my developer cycle. I don't have to keep on like doing some strange behavior to change my roles. With that being said, I was working on the ability for a teacher to upload attachments to assignments, right? So typically if you're working on, like, I don't know if you've been to like an online college course or whatever, when you join the course, you have assignments that are due at a certain due date. And when you go to the assignment, typically the teacher might need to upload a couple of PDFs, maybe a couple of .code files like .js, a zip file, whatever. So I wanted to give the ability for the teacher to upload files. And that's what we're going to be working on right now. I basically have it set up where when I click on a file here, it actually uploads the file to Amazon S3. So you can see over here I have a couple of objects here. As I upload them, they go straight to the S3 bucket of online classroom uploads / assignments, the assignment ID. Actually, hold on. Oh, I'm at the sign back in. Let me sign back into this real quick. I think it's fine that you guys can see my email, whatever. I think this is my only email I have. So when you sign up for Amazon, if you have to use a new credit card and a new email, and they'll give you like a free tier for a year. So that's kind of what I did. I just made like a random account. I can get some free tier going on. So one thing I'm noticing here is that online classroom assignments, I think it'd be better to have it be classrooms / assignments maybe. Oh wait, this is the classroom ID. Anyway, let's just keep working on the app. Close out of that. Oh, I have everything deployed on Railway too. So like this app is actually deployed on a live environment that you all can like log in and try out if you want to. I haven't tested it with the S3 uploads yet, so I probably should. But you can actually log in with like Google here, and I'll log in as a teacher account, and then I'll go to my classroom, and I want to make sure I can create an assignment, testing, hello, and then let's just pick a date. The due date stuff doesn't actually do anything yet. We have to work on that too. But go edit. I want to make sure that this thing actually works. So let's click a file. I'll click the vite config, click upload. And does this work or does it crash? It looks like it's crashing. Public attachment does not exist in the current database. Yeah, so I only have one monitor and I'm not going to like do any type of credential stuff on the stream. So this will just have to be broken for the deployed application. But after the stream, maybe I'll get it deployed and you all can play around with it if you want to. All right. Welcome to the chat, whoever joined. All these people joining. What does up with 3 legs and down with 2? What is the best way to handle errors in next API routes without rewriting? Same try catch clause. I mean, you could make a function and just use a utility function in all your routes that abstract away whatever code you need. Anyway, so let's just go ahead and work on this page where I can actually see the assignments. So let's go to the edit assignment screen. And excuse me. And then we want to go to, let's put an H1 here. I'll say edit your assignment. Maybe we should put the title of the assignment. I'll say assignment dot. Oh, do I even have the assignments? I don't think I even have the assignment. So using the assignment URL that's in the assignment ID that's in the URL, let's fetch the assignment. So I think I could probably use a query. I'll go ahead and just say tRPC use query. I'll say assignment. I'll say assignments dot. Actually, I'll say classroom get assignment. Probably not the best place for that to live in, but let's just grab the assignment and then I should be able to do assignment.data.name. Or is it title? I don't remember at this point. Name. Let's see how this looks. Edit, do your homework assignment. Just make this bold. Okay. And this could be a text of 4XL. I think it might be bold by default or something. I can't tell if that's bold already. Well, it's obviously not because that's definitely more bold. But let's add some padding top. So our margin top to the actual like div here. Give it some more space. And in fact, I think I have a helper thing that does this already. It's called like, I think it's called main heading. Yeah, let's just bring this in. I'm going to bring in a main heading like so. Just like a small little component that like does exactly what I'm doing here, but you can pass it a title and I could just pass it this to begin with, which it probably needs to be some type of JSX. So let's do that. Let's delete that stuff and let's change this. Element is not assignable to type string. Let me just do this. All right. Go ahead and get rid of the bold, interpolate that for now. Like the property has to be a string for right now. I don't feel like going and refactoring that, but why is that all messed up? Title and children. This should take in a title, render some children, and put in HR. I am passing title. Probably just need to put this whole thing in a section, honestly. Like so. Why is this? Okay, hold on a second. I'm getting some type of like flexbox behavior going on. I'm not sure why. All these things are wrapped in a section. Main heading has flex on this for some reason. Oh, I'm doing this wrong. Okay, let me, I'm sorry. Let me take this whole section out. Children was supposed to be for something else. I'm using it for the wrong reason. And we don't even need children in this case. Must have one parent element. Okay. I'm struggling today. There we go. That's what I wanted. Now, I don't know if this is good in terms of UX, but it works. So like what I want to do is for every assignment that you have uploaded. Yeah, this text is weird. For every attachment. Okay, so I need a section for attachments. I don't know if that should be a card. I don't know if it should be like a list. probably just a table, maybe. Maybe we could just use a table. It's probably fine. So here we have like these attachments, and I'm actually just going to make an attachments like section. So let's just go over here and say like attachments table. How about that? TSX. Export const attachments table. And I'm going to go ahead and just pull in this. And this should take in an attachments. And it's going to be just a presentational component, maybe. We'll find out. Let's go ahead and return this. And then this thing, I probably want to type it, right? So attachments is going to be probably my Prisma attachment. So import that from Prisma client. So we have the TypeScript IntelliSense. And this is all messed up because I didn't put my curly braces. This looks good now. And this thing needs to be an array. So what we're doing is just abstracting away this little section. So it's a little bit easier to manage. And I don't have to like have all this code here. Attachment. Did I spell that wrong? Oh, I think it's because it could potentially be undefined. This is one thing I'm never really certain about is like, do you want your presentational components to have to fall back if stuff's not defined? Or would you rather force it to be defined? And I always like to just lean on the side of like, your presentational components should be pretty straightforward and just like render what they're given. So if you're not giving it an array and this thing needs an array, then just do the fallback logic here maybe, but I don't know. All right, what are we doing? I'll check chat in a little bit. The way I like to do my streams is do work, actually add features to my app. And then once I finish the feature, I'll come back and look at chat for a little bit. Probably read your questions, probably skip over them. Depends on how I'm feeling. But we want to make a table here, so let's just go ahead and do that. So I have a table component, which again, I don't know if this was a good approach to do either. But I have a table component and I made it like pretty abstract away where I don't have to like pass it much of anything. I can pass it an array of headers. So in our case, I'll say file name and then actions. How about that? And then if we pass it the other things that are required, which are rows, we could pass it attachments map like so. And then we could have it just return something. What does it need to return? How am I doing this? I think this needs to return actually an array of things. So like this thing would have to return an array of elements. And the first row would be attachment dot file name, which I think I have stored. Hold up, why is my, there we go. Attachment file name, and then we could also put like a button here. So I'll import that one, and that button could say download. And this could be just a primary button. I think I made it so I don't have to actually pass in any type of a variant. I know it's complaining about key, but let's just make sure this works. So this is in the wrong table, so I probably need to figure out why that is. Am I doing this wrong? Why is this not putting in the right table? I have a table somewhere else. So this thing needs to return an array of all your column data. Headers, and that's it. It's because I have an array inside of an array. That's probably the issue. All right, there we go. We got a little table, has some buttons. Now this thing is saying I need a key. Honestly, I think this is just my linter complaining. I don't think this really needs a key because if you look at the table component, I think this thing is doing a key on, let's see, this is doing a header index key, which probably we don't want to use header index. We should probably just use header. So let's clean that up real quick. And then here is using a row index and a column index. Again, this is bad practice. We should probably just verify that the things that are passed in for column have an ID. Like we need to have a unique identifier here. But this thing will probably not know. Actually, let me think about this. Let me not get distracted about refactoring right now. I'll worry about this key stuff in a bit. But we got the table showing, and a lot of this stuff is like, oh, we should probably put a title here that says attachments. So where's that happening? Attachments table. So we should probably put like an H2. When you're doing headings, make sure that they go in the correct like descending order. So if H1 is this one, then you want to make sure that this thing is an H2 so that it's accessible and screen readers can kind of navigate your application and not have any issues. So I'll just put one called attachments here. And we're going to say text of 3XL just to make it a little bit smaller. Still don't like this title. It looks kind of weird, but. All right, margin bottom of 4. Push that down a little bit. Now, I wouldn't think an assignment would have this many attachments, so this data is not even like realistic in my opinion. But I mean, we can load up Prisma and just clear out some of these attachments, and maybe that's what we should do right now. So I'm going to go ahead and just say npx Prisma Studio. This is a cool command you can do to get access to your Prisma, not your Prisma, your Postgres database, and you can go to your attachments and you can literally just like delete whatever you want. So I'm going to delete all those. And then also I'm probably going to go into my S3 bucket and just delete these because now they're going to charge me a couple pennies after a month goes by for these. So make sure you clean those up. So now I refresh the page and I got no more attachments. Pretty awesome. I probably want to push this all the way to the right. Or we could push it here. I'm not really sure, but let's just find out where we're uploading this. And I could just say, what could I say? I guess the attachments table, I could potentially just put some padding or margin under it. Don't need fragments there. I'm gonna do this. So that I can actually like pass in a class name here. So I'm gonna say class name is equal to margin bottom of 4. That should push up some space in between those. Nope, I didn't do it. Class name string is not assignable to attachments. Did I not add it to? Oh yeah, I didn't add it here. If anyone knows TypeScript, what would be the proper way to type this? Because what I've been doing, which I don't think is right, is key string points to any, which obviously isn't the right way, but there's probably a way to have this thing be something else, but that should make it not complain, hopefully, about class name, and then I should get some margin bottom showing up, but I think the issue is that my table also doesn't take in like props. So we probably need to do something similar here. So I'll put that here, and I'll just go ahead and I probably need to extend class name with this. I might be making this more complicated than I need to. You know, let me undo all this stuff. I'm just going to try to do the simplest thing first, and I don't think what I'm doing is helping. So I think it'd be much easier to just like wrap this thing with a div and just give it some margin bottom. So much easier. I don't know if that's good, but it's easier. Instead of having to like have the table take in all this additional stuff. So now I just want to like shift this thing to the right instead of having it be at the left. So I could do that by probably using Flexbox and wrapping this thing and doing a items end. I think that's how you can push it to the right. So flex items end. Or I guess it's called something else, isn't it? No, it's called items end. I always forget if, oops, if it's justify end or items end. I don't know why I can't remember that. I've done it like 100 times by now, but there's some things that I just cannot remember for some reason, and that's one of them. Justify is for taking the items inside the main axis of your flex and like pushing them to the right, I believe. And I think items might be the minor axis. Anyway, let me check chat. I haven't seen chat in a while. I asked a question about the React data flow on the Discord channel, and you told me to get requests based on timestamp on the client side. Yeah, you're working on like the quest thing. I think I remember your question. Is giving the user ability to upload their files may have security issues. Yeah, there's always going to be security issues when you allow the user to do anything, right? They could upload files that have potential viruses, and then the students could download those files and run them, and then they all have viruses on their computer now, right? But if you think about what I'm building, it's just a side project, and the amount of man hours that would go into running some type of like clam AV virus scan over the file that you upload, it's a lot of extra work. So what we could do is just prevent any type of .exes, any type of non-text files or even PDFs have issues potentially, but you'd have to just make sure that the file is what they say it is. So Aglar, I wonder if TanStack use query will work for me. I mean, use query should work for anything. Like it's just an abstraction over your HTTP requests that gives you caching. So if you don't need caching, you don't need React query, although there is a lot of stuff that out of the box helps you build faster applications. Like typically you always have to have loaders displayed, and React query gives you that like Boolean that says, is your stuff loading? Is it done loading? Did something fail? So you end up doing a lot of extra work if you don't just use something like React query. So yeah, I mean, it should work for you. It was good to see you at Theo's stream. I didn't know you were a fan. Oh, when I left a comment? Yeah, I watch his stuff sometimes. Sometimes he streams for a while, and I don't have time to like watch a 4-hour stream. So I just like to watch the clips that he publishes on YouTube after he like cuts them all up and edits them sometimes. But yeah, I mean, I'm doing the T3 stack mainly from him. Like watching his videos introduced me to the T3 stack, and I've kind of really liked this stack so far. You automatically build when you save your changes. No, I don't automatically build. Well, I mean, technically Next automatically reloads your page, if that's what you mean. I'm using Next.js, and when you save, it reloads your page or does hot module reloading to refresh the parts that you changed. So I guess yes, if that's kind of what you're asking. What is the best way to register user Next off if I want to input some important data right after signing with Google? One way is to redirect the user to a register page. But how do I handle if they can come back? I actually do that in my application. I have like a role that I set to null when they first get created. So like when let's see if I can find that. So here is where I kind of get the session and like set the role. So if role is not defined, what I do is I will go to the dashboard and then I check role. If role is not set, I redirect them to a welcome page, and they're forced to pick either if they're a student or a teacher. So it's kind of similar to what you're asking, where like there's something that's not set yet in their data, and you have to show them a different page. So they go to the welcome page, and if they were to close the tab and reload the app, I do that same check. If they don't have a role, just redirect them back to this like finish setup page, because you can't go further in the application unless you fully finish setting up for real. But yeah, this was a similar problem, I believe. TSX, that's TypeScript. I check every time a user opens the app if they added those details. Yeah, I think you have to check every time they open the app, because you don't know like what state they are. Like, what has the user actually finished signing up or not? So you kind of have to like hit the back end and check that stuff. You could try to like get it in local storage and just like set a boolean until they fully finish, but then you have the issue if they decide to log in on a different computer, you don't know if they finished or not. So I would just fetch it from the database every time and check. But I put it in the cookie. Like in their actual session, this will be in their cookie. So it's not like it's fetched that often, I believe. I mean, it might be. Why am I not using Radix UI? Because I'm not. I just haven't, I don't know. I chose a certain stack and I'm just sticking with it. Can you give a 6-second review of the MacBook Air for web dev? So far, I love my MacBook Air. I had some issues with like it being sluggish sometimes when I first got it, and I had to like restart it a couple times. But that's kind of gone away. So I definitely recommend the MacBook Air. I've been so productive with this YouTube channel and my side projects after I upgraded. So yeah, I definitely recommend the M1 Mac 1 Air. It's super light too. I like to move around when I work, so I can pick it up with one hand, and it's like maybe a pound or something. So it's, I don't know. It's really nice. I will say there's something I will complain about. It only has 2 Thunderbolt ports, or I guess they're called USB-C. So you have to go and you have to buy additional stuff to be able to support like streaming, recording your phone. You got USB drives. Like, I don't know why they only put 2 ports on it. Like, that's kind of ridiculous. Like in this day and age with all the peripherals people use. So I just ordered one on Amazon that should come in Monday or Tuesday, where I can have multiple things plugged in. Not a big deal, but it's just like you're forced to buy something additional to be able to really utilize your computer. Justify content and... All right, I'm going to stop reading questions after this one and go back and implement code. I'm looking to build an e-commerce website. What do you recommend for me? Headless, CMS, or CMS? Honestly, if I was going to be building an e-commerce, I would look into Shopify. I don't want to have to deal with accepting credit cards. I don't have to deal with a lot of this other headaches that deal with e-commerce. I'd rather just use an existing solution and let them take a fraction of my pay every month or whatever, however they operate. If you can't and you want to build your own, I would look into Strapi for headless CMS. But I don't know about the checkout features. Like I would be inclined to try to do it myself in Stripe, which would be a lot of extra work as well. But do you use to-dos that much? I find using to-dos very helpful. Yeah, I'll put to-dos in my code sometimes, but usually I just put them here. Like I have a whole to-do list of things I need to do. But if there's like smaller things that need to be refactored, like if I see that like this is bad, refactor please. If I see some code that like I know needs to be fixed, but it's not like a higher level to do, I'll put this here so that when I'm like looking through my code in the future, I'll know that like, okay, I was supposed to clean this up, but and it says Shopify is free. So yeah, I mean, like the amount of time and effort you're going to be doing to build your own e-commerce site is just not worth it, in my opinion, especially if you're dealing with a real client who wants to sell something. Like I would rather just use an existing solution and find projects that actually need me to build something custom for them. And I'd even convince my clients that like there's stuff out there that does this already. So like, let's save my time and your money and not try to rebuild something that already exists. Man. All right, so now we have like a way to view the attachments. Now, I will say these things have to load, right? And so some pattern that we've been doing on a lot of other pages is something called an empty state loader, where I want to show something when there's no data yet. So I've been doing this where I have like an empty component, I have a non-empty component, and then I have an is loading, and then I also have a data. All right, so this one will be attachments for the data. Is loading would be attachments dot is loading. Actually, let me do attachments dot data. And then this whole section here. Oh wait, no, I need to keep this section. So let's put the table here. That needs to be put here. So if it's non-empty, I'm going to show the table. And then if it's empty, I'll just say you have no attachments. Okay, so it doesn't show the table. And you can do something cool with like an image and stuff, which we've done in other pages. Which, I mean, we should just do it now, right? Let's just go to empty state dashboard, copy this. I'll go empty state attachments.tsx, paste that in. Go ahead and do empty state attachments here. You have no attachments yet. So let's do this. There, so it says you have no attachments yet. Shows a little image of someone. It's a little big though. I would not expect it to be this big. I'd probably scale that down 150, half the size. So it's a little bit more user-friendly. And then browse for classrooms, probably not the best user experience to display there. So honestly, I would just delete this whole thing. There. Looks okay. I mean, I'm not a UX expert, but it gets the point across where you see you're at attachment section, you have no attachments, there's a file upload button. Now we could potentially hide this and just show like a button here in the center. Might be a little bit better in terms of UX, but I don't care that much. So if we were to upload a file, like I said, that will upload it to, well, let's add some spacing here. Let's find the upload button. Where's that upload button? Here. Let's go ahead and make some margin right of, you know, I'm going to do it the opposite way. I'm going to say on the button, margin left of 4, which I don't think will work either because the way I'm doing my components is not the best. I'm doing my own stuff just for a learning opportunity, but a lot of these things don't seem like they take in. So when I passed class names in, it actually overwrote the class names of this. Instead of overwriting, we probably want to allow someone to pass in class name. Could be a string. And then we could append the class name with the colors here. So I could just do this. So take the colors and append class name. Like this. I got warnings all through my code base, but I'm just ignoring them. All right, so now we can actually like pass in custom styles, and those are applied to decorate the button or extend the button, whatever terminology you want to use. And now we have a Vite file selected. If I click upload, it uploads the file, and then my app doesn't do anything. So we should probably make it force refresh the attachments after you successfully uploaded the image. Where does that happen? So here it does a post request to actually upload the image. Create pre-signed URL. Yeah, how about this? At the very bottom, if you're using tRPC, there is a refetch method you can call on your object here. So I'm going to say attachments.refetch and call it. And now when I do it, it should refetch my data. Okay, super cool. This, I don't know, the table's pretty big, so I don't know if it needs to be like, we could have this page split up into 2 sections, or we could do tabs. Don't really know. Let's do tabs. Let's do tabs. So what I want to add on this page is tabs, which we already do on another page. So let's just go to another page and go to tabs. I thought we did tabs. Did we not do tabs? I think we do. I have a, maybe I don't do tabs. Hold on. I changed it to side navigation. I don't do tabs anymore. You know what? It's probably fine. Let's just worry about that later. I'm not sure if I want to do like horizontal or vertical tabs here. I could add it in. It won't be that hard, but I think what we actually need to display first is information about the assignment. Right now it just has attachments, which is what we originally focused on. But like if you look at this page, probably makes sense to actually display like the assignment description, which I'll just say assignment dot data dot description. Oh, it has a due date too. I should probably display some type of due date, which I don't know if that should be in an H1 or that should be in a something else, but let's just do this real quick. So yeah, let me put this down here. I'm gonna change this up a little bit. I'll put this in a paragraph tag like this, and here I'll put a assignment description maybe, or I don't know what the user should see here. Should it say description, assignment, overview? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Let's just do a text name. I'm gonna say 2XL or 3XL, and then margin bottom for that. And then we have a description, which doesn't look too good. And then we have a due date. I think the due date's pretty important. And if something's super important, you should probably put it somewhere super visible for your users so that when they go and they see their assignment, they know when it's due. I don't know if maybe it should be here. Might make sense. Let's try doing that. I'm going to go ahead and that's why I have this main heading. It takes in children, and I could simply just put things wherever I want here. So now I can just say, like, in all red, do some date. And I am using something called Luxin, so I can format this thing. If I remember how to, I might have to go to the docs, but I think it's called date. I don't know what it's called. Let's go look and see where we do this. We do date time here. So if I import date time from Luxin, I can pass the date, which, where is it now? It's right here. Due date. So I'm going to make a derived, I'm going to say const formatted due date. That's going to be date time of assignment.data.due date. And we're going to format that. Actually, I think it's called from ISO. I believe this is an ISO format date. And then once you get it and you convert it from ISO, you can say format or to format, and then you can do whatever you want, which, how do we do it on the other table? There's another table called the assignments table, which we do some date formatting stuff. Like, let's just grab this stuff. And we have this in 2 places now, so this is a good opportunity to potentially refactor this if I'm not feeling too lazy. But let's display the due date here. And here it says September 29th, 2022. Due on. All right, so it's kind of like, this is super important to see. And in fact, like, I kind of wonder if it should be on the new line down here or just keep it here. I don't know. I forget that I'm on the edit assignment screen. So this is like a teacher trying to view their assignment and edit it. But for the most part, I mean, like, let's just do something that looks 50% better than what we got. Make it red or something. I don't know if that's really accessible. Let me go ahead. And one thing I want to point out is whenever you're building a UI, like if you haven't seen this before, there's a tab that says Lighthouse. And if you go here and check accessibility, you can run Lighthouse over this page that you're on, and then it'll tell you if you have contrast issues or if you have like accessibility issues. So it's good to run this on your pages every once in a while. I mean, let's just run it and see what happens. It does take a little while to like set up and run. And by little while, I mean like 10 seconds. So if you're impatient, then that's a long time. But let's see if it says we have some issues. We do have a couple of issues with accessibility. We have a 93%, which isn't bad, but I mean, you should shoot for the best, right? Form elements do not have associated labels. So I don't have a label for this, is what it's complaining about. But it said the text 300, I guess, is good. Input does not have a label. Okay, so I should probably actually make this thing be a label. I don't know why this was not a label to begin with. Let's put this in a label. And then when you do labels, you typically have to say HTML4, and I'll say file upload. And now I have to go here and put an ID that says file upload here. And now, and I click on this thing, it's going to upload that. And let's just rerun this accessibility check again. How do I do that? Close that. Let's just run it again. %. Now we're cooking. So it looks pretty good. But again, like I'm just trying to share that with you. It's good to run this over your application every so often. There's also a ton of automated ways that you can check your pages. There's one called Pally. There's another one called Axe. You can run it over your app and it will check your pages and tell you if you're doing something that is not very accessible. Now, what I would probably do is if we wanted to, like, we could find a better way to display this. This could be a better, like, widget. Not main time. What's the other one? I mean, there's like Tailwind UI Components. I could go to Daisy UI again, which I don't want to, but they do have some nice looking widgets. There's like another one that I've been kind of, Flowbyte. Is that it? At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, but I'm just looking for some type of like badges. I think they're called badges. Right? So if like I wanted to get this red one, I'll just go ahead and grab this badge and I'll just go ahead and put it here. Like so. And now if I go back, we got a cool little badge here. It's super small. Like this is just teeny. I don't know why they think this is even useful. Like, you see the glasses I'm wearing? Like I can barely even see this. I got to squint with my glasses on. So let's just increase the font size if they even allow you to do that. There we go. That looks better. I might even add some padding to it. And I don't know if this even is accessible. I'm hoping it is. Do I want to run this again and waste everyone's time? Yep. Just check it real quick. And I could also abstract the badge away into its own helper component. I'm not, at this point, I'm not big into pulling in an entire UI component library. Right? I just needed a single badge. And so I don't want to like bring in everything. I just want to pick and choose what I want. But at some point, it might make sense to make this some type of component. We could do it now. Would that be fun? Sure, let's just do that now. Let's just go here. I'm gonna make one called badge, which, you know, that could just be a top level. I'll say badge.tsx. Export const badge is a function that's going to return this. Takes in some children, renders the children, and that's it. Now the coloring stuff, like we could probably add a variant. I'll just say like enum variant is what I've been using. But I'm gonna make it called badge variant, and I could just I could make it called was this like a warning? Is this an error? They're using red, but honestly I think it's better to have like names that are like warning or error or something like that. So let's just make a variant called error. And this thing's gonna take in a badge variant. We could just say variant. Go ahead and type these things. Children variant is a badge variant. And I'm going to go ahead and just go here and say const color map is equal to badge variant error. And then we are going to go ahead and just pull out some of the stuff that is kind of specific to the red badge, which I guess it's just these, the colors. And then we're going to go ahead and just say const color is equal to color map variant. And I will just do this, interpolate that, and that should be good, right? So now what we could do is if we go to wherever we had that badge, which I don't remember where we put it, I guess it would be under here. We could instead say badge variant could be badge variant equals, or sorry, dot error. And then go ahead and just do that. Badge variant. I have to go ahead and export that, I think. So let's just go ahead and go export that, save it, go back here and import that. And now we have a badge, but now it's like a reusable component, right? So I could just go ahead and do this multiple places and not have to worry about having this like Tailwind CSS stuff polluting my entire code base. So I think it's fine to abstract styles away using components. Yeah, let's check out chat. I haven't checked out chat in a while. Shopify is free. I've been really curious about this stack, but I'm a bit busy now. Will this video be available later? Yes. I publish my streams. They're on my channel. It's HTML. No, this is React, Java, TypeScript, TSX. Are you using client-side or server-side file upload to S3? I'm using client-side. I can give a walkthrough of that if you're interested. Say yes in the chat, and I'll go ahead and walk you through that. I think you should put it on the file name. You should put what on the file name? Put it on the file name. Let's add some spacing here above attachments. So let's go ahead and find this paragraph tag. And what I'm noticing is I'm adding padding to like a bottom of a lot of these things. Kind of wonder if I should just put a flex here, a flex column, and just do some gap of 4. But I'm also wondering if I should just do this because that works too. Just put some spacing because I want more spacing, more white space between my different sections. And then I want less spacing here. So adding a gap would just like make this all look uniform, which probably isn't the best. Maybe even a 12. Like white space is good. Oh, not there though. I want, yeah, let's go to the 8. Maybe the 8 could be a 12. Is that too much white space? I think it looks okay. All right, anyway, I mean, we're trying to focus on attachments, but we made some good progress. And like I always mention, every time you make some little progress, like just go ahead and commit that stuff. So I'm going to say adding a badge and styling the attachments page. Go ahead and commit that, sync it up. The date, okay, the date should be next to the file name. When you say file name, do you mean this stuff? Because the due date, okay, so let me take a step back. Let's say you're taking an online JavaScript classroom, and in order to complete the assignment, the teacher gave you a PDF, and he also gave you an HTML file that you can download. So these are just like things that the teacher's providing the students extra resources that they can use for solving the assignment. They're not like related to individual things that are required, right? So this entire assignment is due at a certain point. And we're kind of looking at the teacher view, right? This isn't the student view, this is the teacher view. So if I'm a teacher editing my assignment, I need to give some files to the user so they can download them, they can read through the assignment overview, and then upload upload their submission at some point. But this isn't uploading. Uploading file is not a good name. Let's rename that to something else. Let's say upload attachment. Because this isn't a file. I mean, it is a file, but it's like the attachment. And in fact, I could say upload assignment attachment. Okay, that's a little bit too much. Let's just do this. I don't know if I explained that well at all. No, today's not my birthday. Those are 51,000 balloons my wife got me. So like when I hit 51,000 subs, she got me some balloons, and I'm just gonna keep them up there until they fall down. Oh yeah, space Y. That's a good one. The space Y, that'll space out all the children inside the DOM element, right? Yeah, I'm using Prisma. Prisma's pretty awesome. Sorry, I have to crack my neck. Getting kind of coding's getting intense. I'm tensing up, man. I just started working on Electron to run some Python commands from child process. I made it, but couldn't find a good tutorial or guide for Electron. Can you develop one? I have a feeling I made one on Electron already. So I don't know, you can go to my channel and search for the keyword Electron. I might have one, but I'm not too into making Electron videos at this point. I just don't think desktop apps are like that beneficial this day and age, and like I'd rather just have a website I can go to so that I can use my application on any device that I want, any computer that I want. Will you include a record of this in your playlist? Yeah, all my streams will be published. I always publish them. Have you tried React Refactor extension for VS Code? I think I did, and it wasn't working the way I thought it would, so I deleted it. Is that the one where you highlight some code and you say extract to React component, and then it pulls it out to a function and does some stuff? Because I had that, and like it just wasn't working well. And I tried it like a month ago, so I could try it again, but you can set button input to hidden and add upload icon label. What button are you talking about? I don't know. I'd rather not change how this thing is, if that's what you're talking about. Like, the browser gives you these default things. It looks kind of weird. Not very accessible either. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe I should like try to fix that, but I don't know. I'd rather just use the default that the browser gives you. Because, I don't know, it probably works better for accessibility. No, I only have one laptop monitor right now. Can we get a quick run through for the new viewers? Is next with React and native possible? I have no idea. I don't do native development. All right. Someone asked for a quick walkthrough of what we're building. By we, I mean me. So let's go back to, let's log out. So at the bottom, I have some buttons I can log out. These are all just like pre-made Tailwind UI things. I just pasted in to make it look decent, but I need to come back through and actually change this to be legit. These don't do anything, but the important part is like, I'm trying to build something for sorry, teachers to basically create online classrooms where, kind of similar to like a college setting, you can go and you can like start a classroom and it starts on a certain date. And then every week you have different assignments and curriculum that your students need to follow. And you can kind of like upload that information. So right now, like you can log in with Google, with your Google account. If you log in as a teacher, you have the ability to create new classrooms. So like I could make one on JavaScript. Let me change this to JavaScript. Introduction to JavaScript. That could be my classroom. Learn about the basics of JavaScript and build your first interactive UI. Save that. So if I go back, oh, this is kind of broken here. I need to change this. Let me do that real quick. Anyway, they make a classroom and then they can go here and they can upload assignments. So assignments are going to be due every week or whenever they want. And that's kind of like what we're working on, where like you can create an assignment and then attach supporting files to that assignment, such as PDFs, documents, whatever, maybe example HTML files. And then the students, when they log in, they can see those attachments and download them. And then you can also see like who is enrolled in your class, what's your student, what grade are they getting currently. And then maybe you can also view that student individually. You see a student's failing, you can go and view and see like, what are they struggling with? Are they failing to submit assignments on time? And then also I wanted to add the ability to like message. So like you can message students directly here. If you're a student, you can message each other. So like if you're stuck on something and you want help from another student, you can actually go and like message them or send them a message. I got a lot of stuff kind of planned out, and this is basically just so I can make a bunch of content. But as you can see, I just listed out a bunch of features that I think this app might need. And yeah, I mean, this is going to take a while to build all this stuff, but that's what we're kind of trying to do right now. And then if you log in as a student, you get kind of similar views. So as a student, you can go and view all the classrooms you're enrolled in, because you could be taking like a JavaScript course. You might be taking like an introduction to Spanish course. And then you can go and actually like view that course and like when stuff's due. Maybe you could have like another section for videos or curriculum or something, or a button over here that allows people to join a chat room together. Like maybe the teacher wants to have classes on a certain time. That's a good point. Let's go here. I'm going to say teacher ability to set up scheduled meeting times for lessons. All right, so typically like in a college, if you were to like kind of scope this down to like how college works, you have a class that meets on a certain day at a certain time. So a teacher should be able to go and like edit their classroom and say like, okay, this thing's going to be on Mondays at 9 p.m. And then you can go and you can browse through classrooms. Like if I want to go and try to find one that's for Spanish, I'm going to add some filters here where you can type in Spanish. You can find the classroom, you can enroll in it before it starts, and then you can start like actually learning. Now, again, this is just for fun. I don't expect this to actually become anything. I just needed one project to work on so I can continuously stream every Sundays and build upon something. I think it's nice watching someone else build like an actual application. You can also unenroll in the classroom if you want to. And then we got dark mode and light mode. That's all I got right now. So again, this is like in its infancy. This is still like a prototype in my eyes. But I think it is starting to get some decent functionality, which is cool. One question: I have 1 year of experience in JavaScript and React and Node, but I didn't learn that much, and I'm not able to crack interview, and the gap is increasing. Can I get a job with gap? Please help. Yeah, I think you could get a job with a work gap, but like I would just continue like during your gap, I would not like sit around and do nothing. Like I would continuously try to keep learning because if you imagine when you have a job, you're working 8 hours a day and like you're learning a lot every day when you work. When you don't work as a developer, you're not spending 8 hours a day trying to solve problems and fix bugs and stuff. So I would just continue to keep on elevating your knowledge, which is easier said than done, but like yeah, I wish you luck. I don't know, just keep on interviewing places and hopefully someone will just, send you a job offer. And we got a super chat over here for $5. Thank you so much. Nice work. Thank you for the walkthrough. Yeah, no problem, Mr. Josh. I appreciate you giving me that super chat. It definitely helps me out. And just continuously stay motivated with these videos. I do post these videos to my channel. Uh, this is open source. Yeah, let me send the link for you all. I mean, this is open source. Again, do what you want with this. This is a learning experience for all you. I'm doing this for you all. And I want you guys to take away some of the things that I'm doing. Again, like this is like a side project, so I'm not doing the best of everything. And as you watch me code, like you'll see that I do iterative development. So I just get something working and I come back and refactor it. So if you look through my code and you're like, ooh, this file looks kind of ugly. It looks ugly because I haven't had a chance to go back and refactor it. But yeah, definitely check it out. Oh wait, hold on. Yes, he will. I asked the same question a while ago. Harold Cruz. Oh yeah, I do upload these things. I'm currently creating a similar type of app. I don't know if it will be successful. I mean, I think it could be successful. I personally want something that I could potentially try teaching like an online JavaScript classroom, right? This is kind of like for me in a sense that like if I can get some of my subscribers signed up for a real, like we meet every Wednesday at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock or whatever, I think that would be fun to do. And actually just try it out because I think watching people on YouTube is a good way to learn, but getting that actual like consistent meeting every day or, not every day, but like meeting once a week, twice a week, and actually getting a formal lesson taught to you and like that lesson builds upon the last lesson, like I think that's invaluable for learning, which is kind of like what happens in college and high school and schooling is you get like an actual structured class teaching you how to do stuff. Versus a lot of times when you're just trying to do self-learning, it's very easy to get distracted and overwhelmed and you don't know what to learn and what's best to learn. Anyway, how can you stay motivated with that many tasks? Oh my God. Yeah, so you look at this and like this is pretty overwhelming, right? And all of these probably are going to take me like an hour or two to add in. But if you just approach it like a job where every day I'm just going to work on 1 hour worth of features. Okay, I'm going to try to allow my students to change their display name. So you sit down for the day, you just try to work on this thing, and once it's done, you delete it. And then after 7 days, you've deleted 7 of these, hopefully. After 14 days, you've deleted 14. So that's like how you, in your mind, you have to just like keep thinking that it's a marathon, right? It's 21 point something miles. I don't even know what the marathon is, but it's just, you have to just take it a chunk at a time. And just don't worry about like it being a ton of tasks. And there's probably even more stuff I can keep adding to that list. Yeah. I think also like working with this in public, like sharing this with others helps me stay motivated. Because I know people are like, next Sunday, they're going to be looking for like some additional progress and me sharing like what I've done maybe. Or like getting on a team of people or like other people can help you like stay motivated because it's fun to like build something with someone else. Building this stuff by yourself is kind of demoralizing, but when you have people watching or you have someone that's actually working with you on this, it's a lot more fun. Let's see, it's been 3 months. I've been working on my school app. For the first month, it was fun and I was motivated to make, but now I'm losing my motivation to make it. Happens with most of my startups. Yeah, I mean, the thing is you can't go off of motivation. You have to go off of discipline. It's a daily grind. Like, it's fun at first, but then you realize that this is actually work. Like, this isn't gonna finish itself. You have to go and you have to sit down, you have to do it. So, it's more of just getting the discipline to invest 30 minutes every day and treat it like a little job in a sense. And every day you miss working on it, you have to, like, I don't know, kind of slap yourself on the wrist and be like, "Look, I was supposed to be doing my job on this today." Would you recommend having a mentor? Yeah, I mean, having a mentor is definitely something that's useful. Someone who can just make you stay on track and someone that you can ask questions to. And when you say, when the word mentor kind of like makes me think you have one person that you're working with, but it doesn't have to be one person. Like, you can join a Discord and you can ask other people for help, right? Like, you can join my Discord. I have a Discord where people ask questions to try to get help with React and TypeScript and stuff. And when you ask a question, like, tons of people are willing to help you out and answer the question. And if you keep doing that every day, like, you have not just one mentor, you have like 10 mentors who are just kind of helping you out. There's no such thing as motivation. Yeah. Yep. Discipline is the key. Um, you just kind of have to treat it like a job. I mean, like, not, we don't want to go and do work every day, right? But if you don't eat. So, a little bit different than a side project, but just like a mentality shift. All right, let me stop talking like I'm a philosopher. Let's just go back and go over here. I don't know if we can download these assignments. I don't think I actually implemented that. And we also can't edit some of the stuff. So as a teacher, I should be able to edit my assignments. I should be able to edit my descriptions here. We could do inline editing. Maybe that would be cool. So, like, have like an edit button here. And when you click it, this thing becomes a text area where they can just go ahead and edit it. And then doing some type of rich text editing would be cool too. Let's just go ahead and do that. All right, so I got this assignment overview, and I do believe we have edit buttons other places. So let's find other buttons where we have very similar functionality. And at this point, I think it's here. It's a link, but we probably want a button. Yeah, let's just do this. At this point, I've had this edit button in multiple different places. I kind of wonder if we should make an edit button. I don't know. I'll think about that in a second. Because in this case, it won't be a link. We don't need to go to a new page. It's a button. So, like, we'd have to change this to a button. Oh, no. Button. And then this has a pencil square. And now we have a button that says edit. But we want it to look like a link, I think. Like, having a button is kind of like, it's too much in your face. I'd rather this thing look like a link. In fact, let me get rid of this. Here we go. So I guess my question is, should I make this a link or make it a button? And then secondly, should I just make this a variant? Sometimes I just get stuck on asking these like questions and really like doesn't matter. Just do something. Like, I could make this a link like this. I just don't think that would be proper. I'd rather have a button that you click on it. And then when you click on the button, it loads up a modal. But I want to style this button to look like a link. But you could have different primary, secondary error types, variants, which means that I have to add like a bunch of strange conditional logic here, I think, to like make it look like a button versus making it look like a link. So what I'm going to do for right now, I'm going to make a new component called link button. Probably stupid. I don't know. Because I can't think of a good way on stream, like what I should be doing here. But we're going to do it very similar to this, and we don't want an as anymore. We actually want this thing to be a button. Like, we're just going to make it a button. And this could, oh wait, why is this as? Let's just make this a normal button, like an actual like DOM element button. And I'll give it a display name of a link button. Go ahead and rename this. Why is this complaining? Component definition is missing display name. Oh. All right, so let's just focus on one. Let's just do primary. And the main difference between this and the other thing is that we don't need background colors on these. X black. So is this a good approach? Probably not. I mean, there's probably a way to find a way to make the button to be generic and be able to look like a link. But then, like, in the back of my mind, we start running into issues where, like, you have to add all this additional, like, complex logic to, like, make it look like a button or make it look like a link and then make it look like a certain colored link or a certain color button. And then you have, like, all this, like, if statement switch stuff just to dynamically change the buttons. And it's like, I'd rather just make a completely different component because it kind of is a different component. And then hovering over it. So let's just go here. So if it's a primary link button, text should be blue 200. Or you could do 300. You hover over it and it becomes that. You don't need rounded. I don't think we even need padding or anything. I also don't know why we have a ref here. Why was I using a forward ref before? That's kind of weird. There must be some reason why I did a forward ref. I don't even use it. I think I wanted to be able to add the ref to this. I don't know. Sometimes I do stuff in code and like I just don't clean it up. So I need to go back. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a to do here. To do, why am I using a forward ref here? I don't even know why I'm doing this. I don't think we should be doing this. So on the new component I'm making, let's just get rid of that forward ref because again, like I don't know why I was doing that. And then go ahead and have this take in a variant. I don't want pass it class name. Children's okay. Right now I'm going to get rid of rest. Get rid of all this extra stuff. I'm just going to pass in the bare minimum to get this thing working. See, where's variant? Like this. And go ahead and get rid of the rest here. I'm missing some type of semicolon or something. Does that look good? I don't think you need padding necessarily. One thing I will do is I will call this a link button variant because I have like variant used all throughout my application now, and I don't want to confuse myself. And in fact, I think this is going to be primary by default. So let's just do that and import it. Although it's not importing. Why is this not importing? Link button, export link button. Variant is missing. So I need to make it optional, I guess. Okay, all that so I can make a button that looks like that. This needs to be text blue instead of background blue. And then the text size, maybe medium. Why is that so big? So this is the downfall of rolling your own components. You end up wasting a lot of time building out your smaller components. But I mean, once you have them built, like you don't really have to worry about them too much. And like, if you are not as experienced, I would say just use an existing component library, like use main time, use flow byte. Like I'm sure there's a button here that looks like a link, and I'm literally just wasting my time at this point, but I don't know. See, it's going to take me as much time to find it than it is to just do it. Like this thing probably needs some flex here, so I'll just go ahead and just give this flex. Like so, that should put it on one line. And then we probably want to justify this, so justify center. Actually, what is it called? That's the problem with IntelliSense with you have like your CSS styles here, like you lose the IntelliSense. So I'd have to like do this. I think it's justify center. No, this one is where you have to do item center because that's the minor access. So I think item center would push these together. Yep. And then we could say gap of 2 to put some spacing between them. And then the text. I don't know why this text is so big. Is there anything other than text small and medium? Like why is the icon so big and the text is so small? Probably because this thing I'm using, pencil square, this is probably hard coded as something. Does that control it? Like if I do extra large, does that make it bigger? Nope. So, okay, so I'm using like an SVG. How does that? I don't think the button's increasing in size at all. Or the icon. Whatever. I mean, I'll figure it out, but it's like I don't want to waste too much time on this. But I'm just going to go ahead and give this a flex so it's on the same line and there it looks good. And then when I click it, I want to probably show a modal so that they can edit. Oh, I don't want to show a modal. I'm just going to like change this to a text area. So here is the description here. And what we're going to do is when you click on this edit button, we are going to change this to a text area like so. Okay. And then we are going to basically probably keep track of some state up here. Is editing description, set is editing description equals use state of false. One thing I wanted to check out is I am using something called React Use, I think, on this project, and I think they have a bunch of helpful React hooks you can use, and one of them is like a toggle. I wanted to try using that. I haven't actually used it yet, but basically it kind of abstracts away like this need to honestly, I don't know what this really gives us. It's like, is it saving us much of anything using this thing? Probably not, but I just wanted to try it out for fun. So like you can bring in a use toggle, and then instead of like having to do state yourself, you can call use toggle of false, which honestly, this seems stupid. Like, okay, let me there seems like there's absolutely no point to doing that. So let's go to the button, link button on click, which I don't think this thing had a click listener on the props. So we should probably, oh wait, maybe it does make sense. Toggle it true or false. If you have watched my streams, you will notice that I jump around all the time, and I can't. I'm so indecisive of what I'm doing, but hopefully it makes for entertaining content. So is editing description, and then I'll say toggle is editing description, and then I'm gonna go ahead and call that. Let me collapse some of these things so there's not so much code everywhere. I'm going to call this thing here, and I'm going to toggle it when you click on the button. Here, this could take an on click. This could just be a function that does nothing. But when you do it, on click is equal to on click here. There we go. I should be able to click this thing, and it should do something. I'm noticing I'm getting an issue with React Use. I don't think I have it installed. I thought I did. So let's just install it real quick. Stuff is slow sometimes. All right. So now I'm not getting that error here. We don't need Classroom ID for some reason. I don't know why it's even there to begin with. This one, complaining about files. All right, I'm getting distracted. Let's go back and get this thing working. So what I wanted to do is if we are showing the editing, you could just do a ternary here, and we're going to go ahead and just swap these orders and just put that. Okay. There we have it. And I think I'd rather do like a debounce. You know, I kind of wonder if even toggling is even worth it. Because like, I personally like having save buttons, right? If you're typing something in and then you click a save button, I'm just rethinking everything. Let me take a 2-second break and read chat, because I think I'm just having some issues with getting focused right now. Let's see. I'm currently learning React with JavaScript. Once I finish, I switch to TypeScript. Yeah, I mean, the more you learn, the more you're worth, right? So if you know TypeScript, I think you have more opportunities to be hired at different companies, right? TypeScript is really cool. I really like it. I was against it for the longest time for some reason, but once I started using it, like I'm so much more productive using TypeScript. So yeah, you can look at TypeScript. It's not that much harder to learn. I think it seems intimidating at first, but it's really not too bad. Using it with React can be kind of overwhelming because there's like a ton of special React types you have to use everywhere, and your code's going to be read everywhere for a while, but you'll get a hang of it. The reason I don't want to use the A tag is because it's not an actual link, right? So in terms of accessibility, this isn't a link. It doesn't take you to a different page. So if someone's blind and they see that they're about to click on an A tag, they would assume that they're going to be taken to another page. But instead, it's just doing something. It's just expanding the editable content. So that's why I didn't want to make it an A tag. Instead, I'm just going to use a button. That's my understanding. It's failing, huh? Anyway. Can you cover tRPC tutorials with Prisma? I might. I've been asked a couple times to do more tRPC tutorials. I just don't like doing tutorials, to be honest. I could try to make some though. Having it as a variant makes it easier to switch variants later quickly, but adds some complexity. If not, you need to make sure props are similar across components. You can also make subcomponents for the buttons so that you still have a higher order component that stays consistent but keeps the code clean. Yeah, I could probably put some more thought into like how I'm doing my buttons. But it's like low-hanging fruit. As long as my stuff is abstracted away behind a common component button, like it's super easy to refactor later on. Why don't move the edit icon to the right side of the text? I don't know. I mean, maybe that's a cultural thing, but like when I see buttons, I like the icons to be on the left because I instantly know by looking at this pencil, it's an edit. Like I'm editing. If I didn't even have the word edit, I would know that this thing, this whatever this is, edits something. Right? So I rather what's the saying? A picture's worth 1,000 words. I rather have the picture be displayed first because instantly I know what this thing's gonna do. And then at some point you stop having to read the text. You just look for the icons, and it's a better user experience in my opinion. So I just put it on the left. Does that mean it's right? I don't know. I'm not a UX expert. Is it just me or style components seem so much better? I don't like style components, especially like when it basically takes your classes and it makes a bunch of random characters alter your class names. I don't know. The developer experience sucks in my opinion. But if you like style components, then just go ahead and use them. In order to change the size of the SVG, you can give it a width and a height. Yeah, let's check that out real quick. So the pencil square, this thing, oh, duh, W, okay. So this thing, I mean, I could have this, this would probably be a good idea for a higher order component that takes in like a size, and the size could potentially just be something like this. Let's just do this. All right, what am I doing? What am I doing? This looks... Okay, so size, we could pass that in, and really size could be some type of icon sizes. How about that? I'll just call it icon size. And that could be an enum called icon size, and we could just do a 6 for right now. Oh, wait. I don't know if this is going to work. Is this going to work? Don't know. Let's see. So icon size could potentially be not defined. We'll default it to size 6. And then we're just playing around with the code a little bit. But let's see if we can go ahead and just like make this different things. Like we could potentially just pass in the Tailwind class. That might have been easier. So what I'm doing, it might be kind of dumb, but this is how you, you know, try new things and try to expand what you're doing. So if I did like a icon size of size 4, would that work? If I exported the enum, it probably would. And now it's gone. Yeah, so I think the enum is probably, like, I'd probably have to do some type of key of or something. It might be easier to not use the enum and instead just say like 6, 4, 2. I think that might work as well. And at this point, I might just kind of undo everything I'm doing and just pass in a class. Because 4 seems to crash. So does it not have a, does Tailwind not have a width of 4? Hold on a second. It has a width of 4. So if I'm passing 4 for size, it should be displaying that size somewhere. What's going on here? Okay, now it loads. Okay, I don't know what was going on there. Hold up, wait a minute. What's going on here? I put the 4 and it shows up. I get rid of this. It disappears. That's kind of weird, right? Well, obviously you can't put some arbitrary stuff in SVG. Like you gotta... Bear with me, all. I'm just wasting your time. Size. Okay, hold on a second. With a 4, what am I? Okay, I'm gonna go to chat. Am I doing something stupid? Yeah, I've used Angular before. I used to work with Angular, Angular JS, and then I went to Angular 2, and then I went to Angular like 4, and then I got switched over to React. Yeah, so I think I'm just making this overly complicated. Although I am seeing something really strange that I'm kind of stumped with. Like, Do you see that? Am I going crazy? So you can pass in a size here of 6, 4, and 2. But when you pass in 4, it doesn't render out the icon. But I'm printing it here, size of 4. Tailwind has a width of 4 and a height of 4 class. I looked at their docs, they have this. But when I do that, it doesn't show up. It only works when I do a 6. That's weird. And then if I were to hard code this to 2, maybe there's like a min size to these things. No, when I hard code it to a 2, it works fine. When I hard code it to a 4, it also works fine. But when I pass in the size, it doesn't work. Okay, let's just stop wasting time. I'm just going to pass in class name. Whatever, just pass in class name, and that's going to be a string. And this is going to default to width of 4, width of 6, height of 6. Sometimes coding is a mystery, man. I'm just going to go ahead and just allow you to pass in whatever CSS, Tailwind CSS class name that you want. Like so, and then I could simply just say class name is, my end button not working? Like I have to keep pressing it. Width of 5. I don't know if width of 5 is even something that's on Tailwind, but this should work. There. All right, I just wasted a bunch of time doing that, but it works, whatever. For real, I mean, I was trying to make a component. I do this a lot. Tell me how to complicate things without telling me how to complicate things. Right? I do that a lot where like, this could be solved in 2 seconds by just doing this. But I guess I was trying to go with like, I don't want all my icons to be random sizes, right? You want to have a consistent look and feel in your application. So to allow people to just randomly pick icon sizes, it can make your application look really inconsistent. So I would rather the ability to pass in like medium or small or large and abstract away the whole idea of Tailwind from like the consumer of this component. So those are the things that go through my head, but you see me struggling doing something that seems like it's dumb, but like there's intention behind what I'm doing. But like it was the weirdest thing, like why would that not interpolate correctly? You know what I'm saying? Like maybe the SVG will not re-render when you change something. I don't know, but I mean, I guess passing the class name works fine. It's just, it goes against what I was trying to go for, but yeah, for real. Why the size of an integer? Yeah, I'm at this point, I got it working. I don't want to waste more time on this, but I'll come back and read some questions in a second. So I want to add a save button here. I kind of, the toggle's cool, but I rather like be an explicit save. I could add a debounce and have it like just automatically save as they type. I don't really like that because it's like, I don't want to editing, like people could potentially be like getting this into a ready state and they don't want to, you don't want to keep on like sending that over to the back end, because when your students load your assignment and like they see some bogus edit state, it's going to be a bad user experience for your students. So I rather be explicit and add a button there, which I guess we could do it here. So when you're actually editing, we could add a button that says save, and then that'll show up. We could probably find a save icon, although I don't even know what people use for save icons anymore, because like I hear people don't even know what a floppy drive is. Like that was like the default save icon for the longest time, but like who uses a floppy disk? But I've been using something called hero icons, and I don't know if this is the best approach. I tried installing the hero icons React npm package, but I kept getting tons of errors with next, like saying stuff wasn't consistent when you rendered it, so I just deleted that. And now what I do is I find, yeah, they don't even have a save icon anymore. Like, I guess an upload is kind of like the default. That doesn't seem right either. What would you all use for a save icon? Or would you guys just not use a save icon? All right, good luck. Thanks for checking in on the stream, and good luck on your project as well. I started a playlist with the Classroom app, but no, this thing is built in pieces. So I'm jumping around. One day you'll come in and I'll have like a bunch of additional functionality added. This isn't from like blank slate to what you see now. So there's not going to be like a good video that shows you the entire process. Yeah, React Icons has all the purges unused with classes. So if you haven't used with for anywhere else, it won't work, as it doesn't see the with for at purge stage. This is the thing that I hate about programming sometimes, is that you start using these libraries and these frameworks and they have these like strange edge cases and side effects that you won't find out about until you dive like really deep into their docs. But yeah, that makes sense. I guess since I'm dynamically setting the width of that component, Tailwind doesn't see it. So does Tailwind run through all your DOM nodes and look for like class name equals to the actual string? Like, would I have to put a hidden element on my page with width of 4 for this to work? That seems kind of dumb. I don't know if that's even true though, because like I can, look, if the Tailwind compiler does that, then like why would width of 3 even scale down? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if that's the case, because like I haven't used width of 3 anywhere in my project, right? So if I go and look at Tailwind, the Tailwind docs, and I go back to width, there is a width of 3, right? But how does Tailwind know? Hold on a second. Let me try something. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's the case, because like how would Tailwind know I'm using this class unless they actually like dive through JSX and they do stuff like that? You know what I'm saying? Like maybe I need to get rid of this. Anyway, okay, I'm sorry. I'm just getting so caught up in this like little thing that should have been super basic to figure out, but like, ooh, camera on. Rather than construct them in pieces with template strings, you just have to use complete class names. Use. Oh, what's up, Nexel? Nexel, wait, have you? You know, I'll think about this stuff later. I think you all brought up something that like I need to spend more time reading through the Tailwind docs to understand how the compiler works, because I don't really understand how it works, to be honest. But you can use the class names package to use dynamic class names. Or if you guys want to join my Discord and like start a thread and we can kind of talk through this, because I'm not fully grasping what the issue is. Again, like I don't consider myself the smartest developer. It takes me some time to understand like some concepts that are new to me. So I will have to go and read through the docs to understand like what was going on in that particular situation. I have to go and reproduce it so I can like really understand. And I just don't want to do that on stream right now because I'm just trying to add features. But thank you all for like pointing out that that's the potential issue. That's really interesting to learn about. Um, oh yeah, what was I doing? I was trying to do like hero icons in like I asked like what would be the best save, and they don't have a floppy. They don't have anything else. I don't know if I should even use hero icons at this point or just try to find something else. But for right now, whatever. I'll just use like an upload. Let's just do that one. And so what I've been doing is kind of dumb. I just been making these icons like this. Super dumb, but I've tried installing the hero icon thing, and I didn't want to have to use a bunch of different icon libraries. So there we go. So we got a button showing up. Looks cool. Now the issue is that I'm seeing this pattern with a lot of my buttons where like the children are all being put on different lines. So I might actually give this like a flex and a gap of 2 so that all my buttons are consistent. Like so. And then I need to make a higher order component for all these icons. Because right now, like the 4 is just too big. Whatever. And then I also need to say like items center. There we go. So why did this thing has like a ton of, the text area has a ton of padding under it. I don't want all this padding anymore. In fact, I probably just want to add a div here, the class name of flex column, gap of 4. Go ahead and put this here. Oh wow, that's not what I wanted. Do I just have to add like flex grow to 0 to these things? Maybe I don't want to use flex. I mean, if I just use a div, it's going to be like proper anyway, so whatever. But then what I could do is just like, oh, I see the issue. Yeah, maybe I should just add like some default width to this. Like it could be like a third of the page or something. I don't know. And then I can give it flex. Flex column. But then the button, like I don't want this button to also grow as well. So like I could probably give this a flex. Isn't it flex 0? How do you prevent it from growing? I think I saw something. Is this not being passed through? Flex grow of 0. Let's go to the Tailwind docs because I obviously don't know what I'm doing. And let's figure out how to prevent the grow of the items. Grow 0, okay. So I don't want the button to grow to its full size. Why is this happening? All right, I'm gonna lean to you, chat. You guys are always smart. Why is it that this button is growing to full width? It's inside of a flex parent. I gave it grow 0. I thought that would not have it grow, but like I don't know what I'm doing. So let's just try some different stuff. Maybe it needs to be like inline block. Isn't there a way to do that as well in Tailwind? Inline block, yeah. Good chat. W fit. W fit. Then what's the point of the grow then? I'm about to quit programming, y'all. I can't even make a button not grow. Okay, I give up. Give up. All right, let's go to class name margin bottom 2. Thank you all for pointing that out in the chat. WFit, I mean, obviously it probably makes the width fit the children's content. But I guess I don't know how Flexbox really works because I thought I could just tell it not to grow and that would do the same thing, but it just doesn't work that way. So let's go ahead and just put this entire thing. Like there's not enough padding underneath this button. So like this whole div like should probably have some type of margin bottom 12. There we go. And then we want to shift it to the right. So let's see if I can do this. Justify end. That probably won't work because I need to put it on the wrapper. You know, if I put it here, I don't think the text area. Okay, hold on. I'm doing a flex column. So I have to do items end, I think. Okay. Like I said, I haven't used Tailwind on a production thing. So like everything I do with Tailwind, this is just like me learning on my side project. Because I do think it is interesting to learn. But I think I'm more of like a back-end engineer, DevOps engineer than I am a front-end engineer at this point. Like I really like it working with Terraform and Amazon and getting stuff like set up in a CI/CD pipeline. And styling stuff is like probably one of my weaknesses. Was it justify end? I've already forgotten. There we go. All right, does this look whack? I got a button that says save. You click it. You probably need to toggle this thing down. So I'm gonna say unclick, handle, save, edit, description. Super verbose name, but it works. Let's just go ahead and add a function here that does something when you call that. And I'm gonna go ahead and toggle that thing off like so. So we at least can toggle it away. We probably want to give this thing some default height because like, I'm assuming if you're telling students to like work on something, you probably want more real estate to like, I don't know, explain what's going on. So like, I don't know if we should do a height of 56 and see what that gives us. I guess that looks okay. All right, so can we actually like complete the circle of the user story of like when they type something and click save, can we persist that data? So like the text area would need to save the content of this. Now, if you wanted to be proper, like this should probably be in its own form. And then we could probably bring in like React use forms, maybe. Use form React or form use, what is it called? I know I used this somewhere. Forms, React hook form. There it is. I can't remember stuff. So let's go here. Let's see if we can kind of follow an existing solution because I don't remember how to do this from the top of my head. Sorry if I just coughed into the microphone. I totally forgot I'm on the microphone right now. But let's look at how we do this. You can basically create a form like this and you can do some stuff with it. Let's just do it here. And you can call register on this form. Reset. Don't want to do reset. Handle submit. We don't care about form state errors. Okay, so let's use that register call on the form itself. On the text area, I could just do ... register and I could say description. And then when they submit, I think by default this is going to be a submit button. When they submit the form, I have to add that in. So on submit needs to call handle submit upload image, I think. Oh, wait, whoa. What am I doing? That's the wrong div. Let me collapse that so I don't screw that up again. I think on this form, this needs to say like on submit, handle submit, pass it a callback, which would be handle save edit description. Get rid of the on click on the button since by default it would submit the form. And if I'm doing this right, I think this should still work. There we go. So it is saving the I think the input box, hold on a second. I probably need to set some default state of this thing, of the form. I don't remember how to do that. Is it like default values? There we go. And this could be, remember to stretch your back when you're coding, or else you'll be messed up with back pain for life. What did I call this thing? I feel like I'm losing my steam. I call this thing description, and we need to set that default value to be the assignment description, but this is asynchronous, so we don't know what the assignment name is until it comes in. So I don't think default values is going to work. And I'm a noob when it comes to this form library. I just started using it. So the thing is how do we dynamically change the default values when this thing is not going to be defined when this page loads? It comes in at a later point. So let's go check out the library, and I'm sure people in chat have already told me how to do it. Let's just go over here. Self-end? I haven't heard about that one. I have to check that out. Sorry, I'm just trying to like get caught up on what's going on. You want to inject dynamic Tailwind classes, you can't do this. Write the entire class name. Okay. Tomas, who asked, sarcasm. I'm not sure who you're talking to there. You want to push the button to the right, you can try self-end. Use text align. CSS makes me want to throw my keyboard across the room. Yeah, CSS is kind of a pain sometimes, but on my first day at work, I spent a whole day making a nav bar responsive. Yeah, it's like the amount of time we spend on the front end just doing like really basic stuff. Or I don't want to say basic because that's like degrading to like what we do, but from a outside perspective, sometimes you spend 8 hours just making something really simple like a drop down work. You can simply query the data you need and feed them to useForm's default values. useForm exports set value. The form instance has a set value. You can use it on success of the query. Book 4 has something similar like set value. Let me close my Steam. I just bought this 7 Days to Die game. I've been trying to play. It's interesting. But okay, so set value. I can go ahead and bring in set value. And we don't care about setting a default anymore. So what I could actually do is like when I get data back from my query, for the first time though, that's the issue, is that like this query is going to fire off multiple times probably, because the way React query works. It's almost like I need to, do I want to use an effect here, or can I just say on success for the first time? Let me try this approach. Probably not the right approach. I think there's an on success, and I can get some data, and I could set the value of assignment, or I'm sorry, I call it description, and then I could say a data dot description. So this would work, but I have a feeling that like if I were to lose focus and refocus the page, React query is going to automatically fetch assignment, because that's what it kind of does when you refocus tabs, and then it's going to override any state that you might have with the new value. Let's try that out. And let me just test my understanding of something. All right, so I'm going to say what is up, and then I'm going to go ahead and go off the page, go back, and it cleared out what I just typed. So yeah, that's exactly my issue. The issue is I can't do this every single time. I can only do it the first time. Now, I don't know if there's a callback that says like on first success or something. Like, I guess what I could do is just say if yeah, I don't know. Is there a way to get the value? I could do get values, get field state. Maybe that's what I want. Help me out, y'all in chat. Help me out. I don't know what the best approach is for this, I'll be honest. But I want to say if there is no field state. No, that's not how you do it. How do you get the actual value from your state? I know there's a watch you can use, but I don't want to use a watch. I want to use I guess it's just get values, huh? Is that going to return all the values though? I don't want all the values. I just want like get values takes in a name. Okay, so if there is no value for description, then I'm going to set the value. Is that the proper way to do it? I think so. I don't know. All right, so let's click save, and I want to persist this updated description to the backend, which this component is starting to get pretty big. It's like 250 lines, so I need to think about ways to maybe refactor it, but I need to bring in a mutation for updating it. So I'm going to say assignment. I don't think I have one, so I'm going to go to assignment router. I'm going to make a new mutation here, which is going to look like this. And then I'm going to say, we're going to take in a description, update assignment. Description. I'm going to make this super specific endpoint right now, but we can probably come back and make it more generic as we update more and more things to make it more CRUD-like. But I want to basically say await context.prisma.assignment.update where ID is equal to input.assignment ID. And then data would be description is equal to input.description. And I need to double check what's going on here. So this one is ending there. Do that. Oh, that's not what I need to do. Am I missing something? Oh, that just needs to be a curly brace. There we go. Yeah, so let's just go ahead and try to call this from the front end right now. Like so. In fact, I don't need to say update assignment description. I'll just say update description. And that'll make it a little less verbose. And then we could just go ahead and call update description here. And then down when we submit the form, which handle whatever is called, I could call it, and I'm just going to go ahead and pass it the form data. So this would be like the description here, I think. Although I don't know if this is going to be typed in. I think it's going to be typed as any because I didn't like properly type this thing. So I'd have to go back and figure out where I'm doing use form. And then I have to just pass in like a description here. That's a string. And now I think this thing down here should be typed. Maybe not. Okay, let me just go ahead and do this. I'm going to pull this whole thing out here and just say like update form. I did it somewhere else. Where did I do it? Create classroom form. Type update description form. I guess it's expecting a equal signs, and we could just pass it as a type to use form. And now I think we still have to do this. And this could just be form data dot description. Update description is not going to work because we have to pass in description. And we also need to pass in assignment ID, which I believe is already there on props. So yeah, moment of truth. Let's see what happens. In fact, I probably should update the description first before I toggle that thing away. And then like we'd even handle the error cases of what happens if the backend was down. But let's go ahead and save that. And then did our backend crash? Use default value or value props instead of setting children on text area. Am I setting children on text area? Why would I be doing that? Yeah, why am I doing that? All right, so I think it did persist. You see it says what is up, but the issue again is that like we'd have to tell React Query to refetch the assignment potentially, or we could do some optimistic updates and just like force that out. But I mean, I just like to do the easiest thing first. It's not the most efficient, but like we could just say assignment refetch here. But now the issue is we can't call refetch until we await on this. So then I can say refetch. It might be cool to actually have this be a markdown previewer. What do y'all think? Yeah, I might need to do that as well. I was trying to think if there's like another reason why it could be refetching. Like if fetch on disabling fetch on window refocus would be a better approach than what I'm doing with the on success stuff. Because I think there's still... Is there anything else that might like automatically fetch from a React query? Like if a timer goes off, like does it just automatically fetch after a certain amount of time? If not, then yeah, I could just like not have it refetch when I do that stuff. Which would be get assignment. Yeah, I could just say refetch on window focus of false. And then like I don't need to do that additional check, I don't think. All right, let me scroll back up and see if I've missed anything in the chat. Also, how long I've been streaming for? 2 hours. Wow. I'll do a little bit longer, probably. 11 o'clock right now. All right, so if we scroll back up and see if we miss anybody's comments. I have no idea. I usually go with Formic. I haven't tried Formic yet. People say it's really easy to get stuff going. I need to check it out. You can simply query the data you need and feed them to use forms default values object. Oh, I think I already did this part. Me spending a whole week of input animation on React Native. Yep. There's so much time that goes into just doing things that I don't think people realize. Disable, you can disable. Maybe set the value only if the form is not in the editing state. Yeah, that's a good idea too. That's a good idea. Because also, like, you are the only person who's editing this thing. So there's no reason to even have to refetch data when you refocus the page, right? Unless you have different laptops that you're like editing the same thing on, which doesn't seem like a real use case for a teacher who's editing their assignment. So I think just disabling on refocus is probably okay and probably the best solution. You're already on the edit assignment page. Why don't you query the assignment and feed the data into useform's default objects? Because I don't think you can, I don't think default values is going to update. Because remember, when this page loads, I have to fetch the data from the backend. I'm not doing server-side rendering like the way you're supposed to in Next.js. I'm doing a lot of client-side rendering because I do like it a little bit better. I'm not a fan of like having the server fetch the data and then like pass it through props and then do all that stuff. I probably should. That's the whole point. That's like one of the main purposes of Next. But I do think there is benefits to client-side rendering where you can actually show content and show spinners while the app's loading, and especially if you don't care about search engine optimization, then why have the entire page just sit there waiting for all the data when you could start showing some stuff? But yeah, I'd have to wait in the code until the query finishes, and then I have to feed that into default values. But I do believe use form probably has like a memo inside or a use callback inside or something that's taking the default values and it's only updating it the first thing it ever gets. I mean, Skya, like, let me think about this. You're saying I could pass default values here, description, but then what would I put here, right? I need to actually put a value. Because if I don't put a value that's set equal to whatever the database has, I don't think I can come back later and set this again, right? Because I would bet money that use form has a use memo in it that's not going to allow you to change the default values. And I can't set this because I don't know what this is until my assignment is done getting from the backend. Okay, so that's like the dilemma I'm having where like you have to set the value after the API request finishes, but I could just be misunderstanding how this form hook library stuff works. All right, let's see. We're getting a breakdown here. Flex grow is for controlling the main size growth. So it only works on the main axis vertical with flex direction column. With align items normal, children occupy full cross section. Okay. That makes sense. I think. But thanks for the breakdown. I think it makes sense. Like, depending on the direction that your flex is going, the grow is only for the main axis. In our case, we're doing a flex column, so the grow would be related to the entire height of the container and not to the width. So wfit was the proper fix potentially in that situation, although I do think someone also said there's another way to do it. Flex end. Oh wait, that's for something else. Every time I think of giving JS full stack development a chance, I see if things have improved. It looks more esoteric and arcane than before. Yeah, that's the point. We make it so complex that when we make giant systems that only us know how to fix, it's job security, okay? We need to make this as esoteric as possible so that we build job security for ourselves. You can simply extract the form into its own component, and the parent of the form component will have already fetched the data. Okay, so I see what you mean there. That would require abstracting the form to a child component, which might be a good approach to keep the code cleaner. Have you tried React Router 6.4? No, I haven't used React Router really. Well, I haven't used 6.4. I don't know what the loader stuff is, but maybe I'll check that out. But I got it working, so it's like it's pretty good. Align items anything other than normal would have made the button fit its min content because then it would have known where to place it. Otherwise, it's full width align item. Align items anything other than normal. Let's go back to that. I want to try that out real quick. I think if I got rid of this, I don't know why this has inline block. That was a mistake. So to push the save to the right, are you saying line? Oh wait, hold on a second. Anyway, let's not get too distracted. I thought I understood what you're saying, but I don't understand what you're saying. So this works. I saved it. Let me commit what I have because I added a bunch of stuff. So ability to edit the description. Oh, description on an assignment. What did I package install? React use. Installed a library for a simple toggle. This is what it's all boiled down to. Like npm left pad at this point. What would this thing need to be? Set file, use state, TypeScript set file for file React. I'll look this up and I won't remember what it is. But I think there's like some type of... Oh, it's just file? Really? I don't think that's right, but it could be. Array of null is not convertible to that. Is that the fix? So if you can't pass null, then what do I have to do undefined? Just want to make sure this still works. It looks like it's still working. All right, let's just do like one more feature real quick. I want to try to be able to download the file. Like once I've uploaded the file, how do I download the file? So we'd have to go to the router. Oops, what's going on here? Let's go to the router. I got this pre-signed post URL. This is how we're allowing people to upload a file to S3. We basically call create pre-signed post that gives us a signed URL that the front end can actually do a post request to S3 directly, upload the file. But if we wanted to download the file, we'd also have to grant that user permission for downloading the file. So let's make another one called get download URL. And we could probably give it like a file ID. And what we need to do is find an attachment. We don't need an assignment ID. Let's just do file ID. We'll say ID is equal to file ID. And let's go ahead and try to find unique where that attachment is there. And what we want to do is go and look at some other code I've done because I've done this in the past and I don't remember off the top of my head how to do this stuff. So luckily I have a T3 stack other project that I abandoned a couple of months ago. The story of my life. But let's go and find the router for where we are trying to do images. So I am creating a pre-signed URL promise. I think I want to do this. So let's just go ahead and say like const download URL is equal to this. We're going to basically allow the user to get the object from our bucket name, which in our case, I have this hard coded here for some reason. So let me just go ahead and const bucket name is equal to this. Get that stuff from being hard coded. And that could probably further be pulled out to an environment variable if we wanted to, but get the bucket name and then also the key probably needs to be consistent. Attachments, assignment ID. So let's go ahead and also abstract this away. I'm going to say const get key. I'll say get object key. All right, this is kind of like very specific to S3. I'm going to return that key here. And we want to make sure we pass an assignment ID and attachment ID. So I'm just trying to abstract away like some of my code away from like where the key is actually stored. So I can do this. Does this help at all? I don't know. I think it makes the code a little bit more manageable in case I ever decide to change some of the stuff in the future. But let's do attachment ID as well. And let's get rid of this stuff. Hopefully that works. Create pre-signed post. I'm putting the download stuff in the wrong place, aren't I? Actually, no, I think this is fine. Let's do this like so. We don't know what the assignment ID, but it comes from here. So I think we can do that. Attachment ID, assignment ID. Kind of stinks that we have to know the assignment ID just to get the attachment, but I think it makes it easier to like deal with. Let's see if this works. I'm gonna go ahead and return the URL. Hopefully this all works fine, but I also want to figure out there's an error somewhere. Where's this? Left side of the comma operator is unused and has no side effect. What? I have a comma there. All right, let me slow down. Assignment ID, attachment ID. That seems good. Down here, we were generating that same key. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I pass these things correctly. And this could be attachment ID as well. Like so. Yeah, moment of truth. Let's try this out. So what I want to do is when you actually click. Actually, what's the expiration date of these things? I think by default they expire after about an hour. I think you can like increase. It's not important. But I guess what we could potentially do is when you click on the download button, we'd have to fetch the download URL for that thing, which might be, I think it might be confusing, making this a little bit too complicated. In terms of security, it's probably better to generate the expiry link the moment they click on the download button, but I don't know if it's the best approach for UX. So there's a download button here, which I don't know where that went. I guess it's here. But when you click on the download button, I might get rid of React query here and not, well, whatever. I'm going to say get download URL mutation equals tRPC use mutation. And I'm going to say assignments, get download URL. And I'm going to pass it something. What do I need to pass it? I don't remember this point. Yeah, I'm starting to lose steam. I can't even think properly right now. All right, so I made a router that takes in a file ID. So I need to make sure I pass in the file ID, which would be whatever it needs to be. Oh, wait, what am I doing? I don't need that. Okay, hold on a second. Hold on a second. I don't need to, I'm confusing React query with use query with use mutation. We don't need to pass the ID yet. So when you click on this button, I'm going to say handle download clicked. And then I'll say do this. This will also take in a file ID, which we probably want to do this. I'll say attachment.id. That's the file ID. In fact, let me rename this to attachment ID so it's more consistent, and that could be a string. And we want to do something. Why is this complaining? Key is missing. Okay, let's just go ahead and give this a key. Attachment ID. Looks good. So let's go ahead and say get download URL mutation, mutate async. I might rename this to just get download URL. And then I'm going to call file ID of attachment ID. I should probably rename this. That seems kind of weird. So let's go here and just change that to attachment ID so it's more consistent with like what it really is. Okay. Want to await on it because we want to get the URL back. And then window.open, I think you can say URL new window. Is that how you do it? There you have it. I'm downloading these vconfig files now. So now I don't know if there's a way to do like a download as, because that's not going to work here the way I have it set up. So I need to rethink the UX of this a little bit. There's probably a better way to do this. But it works. I mean, you can actually get to the file. I rather it actually show like a download down here button. And I think it's a matter of like changing maybe the content type of the file we're saving in S3. But now like I can go here, I can simply upload whatever I want. So I'll do like an index file, upload it, and then I can download that same index file, which it loaded over here, I think. Pretty cool. So let me just go ahead and commit this real quick. Ability to download attachments. Super needs some work though. The UX isn't the best, but it's working. Go back to chat. Yeah, all my streams are available on my YouTube channel. So like go to my Web Dev Junkie channel and then go to my videos and then go to live, past live streams right here. And you can see all my live streams that I've done. So it usually takes a little while for like YouTube to actually process it and like publish it for you. I don't know why, but like when I end this stream, it won't show up for like a couple of hours, I think, but it will be published. Is it a pre-recorded stream? No, this is live. I'm doing all this live right now. But yeah, now we got stuff that's uploading to S3. We gave the ability for users to download from S3. I wanted to do Markdown here. Maybe we can do that real quick. I don't think it'll be too hard to add in like npm Markdown previewer. Don't know what the best one is. What I usually look at the downloads. This has 5 weekly downloads, so I'm not going to use that one. This one has 56 downloads. Probably won't do that one. Okay, why are there so many like low ones showing up? I don't get that. npm or React Markdown. How about that? This has 1 million downloads. Okay, this one's probably a little bit more what we want. I'll trust that it's good. So how does it work? You import it, you pass this in Markdown, you render it. Yeah, this looks good. So if I wanted to allow teachers to write the descriptions for their assignments in Markdown, what is React to GFM? Here's an example that shows parsing the Markdown as a string and how to use a plugin remark GFM RAS supports or strike through tables, task lists, and URLs directly. I'm going to skip that one for now. Hopefully we can get that working without doing that. But let's just go ahead and go up here, import that package. And then wherever we display the description, which don't know where that happens. I guess it's here somewhere. We could actually display React Markdown, pass it. Children would be Markdown. It's kind of a strange name for your Markdown. Children. Because it's not really a child like React thing at that point. Let's check this out. Now the issue is I'm using Tailwind CSS, so like I don't know if this is actually gonna work. Hello, what is up? Like it might work, but it might not be styled. Okay, I'm not doing this right. Yeah, so like all these things, they're actually ULs, LLIs, headers and stuff. But now that I think about it, like now teachers are going to be able to upload stuff that is not accessible at all because they're just going to be putting whatever like titles and stuff they want, which is going to clash with like the accessibility of the page. So maybe Markdown's not a good approach because I don't want them screwing up and adding a bunch of their own little headers. I could always just like prevent them from adding headers or make them have to add headers 3+ because I don't want them putting header 1s here. But what would I do in this situation though? almost like I'd want to style the markdown thing directly, which I could make a div called markdown, and I'm going to go back to my roots of just CSS and say markdown, and then we could just go ahead and say like H1, H2, H3. You know, this is probably bad. I don't know. I'll just say like apply text of 4XL. Is this going to work? Probably not. Let me do a H of 2. Does that change anything? Of course it's not doing anything. So why would this not work? I have a class of markdown. I'm putting it in my global CSS. And then I'm saying any of the H2s and H3s, like I should be able to style them properly using H2 apply. Why would this not work? Is this not how Tailwind allows, like, does Tailwind not allow you to do stuff like this? Is it because I don't have a semicolon? Yeah, all these styles are being blown away for some reason. Yeah, it shouldn't be too hard. I need to stop saying that because everything's always hard. Mutate, if you use mutate async, you can actually wait on it. It returns a promise. So like you can run more code when you know the endpoint finished. Mutate, it just fires the endpoint and that's it. You can't wait on it. You don't know when it's finished. You don't know if it failed. Well, technically you know it failed because it'll set the errors up on your mutate callback. Does using the download attribute on the tag work? For example, href download. Click to download. It might work. I think the issue is I would have to like, I've run into issues with downloading with like, you click on the download button on mobile and it won't do anything because like sometimes you have pop-up blockers and stuff. And sometimes like your mobile device will not download the file unless it's a link. So like in this case, this situation, I'd either have to, when the page first loads, I'd have to go and just regenerate a bunch of URLs that don't expire after like an hour so that you can download them all. So then you have like a bunch of pre-signed URLs that just last for like an hour for all the assignments, which I mean, it's probably fine in this aspect, but in terms of security, like you don't want those pre-signed URLs to be generated for every single file every single time. So I wanted to make it more specific where like you just, when you click on download, it downloads and generates this URL for that one file. And then maybe I'd have to go and like make it turn into a link. I don't know. Maybe I could unhover. I could generate the link. Yeah, I'll make that. Let me put a comment somewhere for that. I'll say like assignments or attachments table. I'm just going to put a to do here. To do, look into this. All right, we'll come back and finish that because I do want to. It is CSS file, not Sass. Oh, I hate coding. All right, there we go. This is the issue. Is there a way to do this with Sass though? Like, man, I use Sass on my work project, so like that's what I'm used to. But let's see if this works. Ah, there we go. You guys are the best. All right, let's just go ahead and change this a little bit. So H3 could be that. H1 could just be extra. For H5 could be a medium. Oops. And then we could do like an unordered list. Is how do you do like the list styles? It's like list decoration or something. List style. Wait, let's just do square. That looks good, right? List style is square. I think you put it on the ULs, right? Or do you put them in the LIs? By default, this includes LI elements. Maybe it doesn't matter. Just put them here. Square. Does that fix that issue? Okay, now my markdown is failing because MD does not Exist? How does medium not exist? Really? It's just small and large? Oh, we got some of that stuff. Now, it's not indented, which... This style type? Is that another one? Base counter. Yeah, I guess I'm curious, like... I just wanted to do like the default stuff. Like, I don't want Tailwind to remove all these styles and we have to do them. But, I don't know, like for LIs, is this going to work with even deeply nested children? Yeah, like this is all just going to be a bunch of like unindented stuff that's not user friendly. So I'd have to go and like figure out like what is the proper way to do that. Which I know someone knows how to do it. Position. Inside and outside. Tailwind, CSS, revert to UL, styling. This is where my CSS struggles are coming through. Let's see, you need to add padding back to UL. You can use Tailwind typography plugin. Tailwind typography plugin. Why is this complaining? I guess this thing has to be defined. I don't know what that's complaining about. Who cares? Yeah, I mean, I could add the padding, but like... Oh wait, does that actually solve it? I don't think it's the padding I need to do. It's something else. Is it margin? Maybe that's it. Whatever. It's good enough. What happened? So I need more space between these things. Let's go back to the description here. And let's do margin of 16. Or 12. There we go. My battery is low, y'all. That's probably a sign of I need to wrap this up. So I don't know what other markdown things we might have. I don't think I handled 6. I think I did 5. Yeah, we got some headers, some bullets. I don't know if links would work. Will this work? Nope. So this probably goes back to like this remark thing I have to basically set up, which I could try installing it real quick and just use the remark plugin. Markdown remark plugin, like so. Let's go ahead and go over here and import that while it's installing. Will that work with links? It's clickable. I think I might have done my links backwards though. Is that the proper way to do links, or is it square brackets followed by parentheses? I don't remember. There we go. So I don't know if I even need that plugin because like I just didn't have it correct to begin with. Let me try to remove the plugin and see if it still works. It does. So I don't know what that plugin's for. I don't think I need it. So let's just... This is why you read the docs, you all. Don't just do what I do. It's a bad approach to just try stuff. But it's fun. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and just commit what I have and then wrap this up. So I'm going to go ahead and say like displaying the description via Markdown. And then we can kind of keep working on styles for that and stuff. Any last remarks? I'm going to wrap this up. Let me close out of some of this stuff and go back to my chat. I think we added some good stuff here. I mean, we have like I didn't make as much progress as I thought I would today, but it's in a better state than it was. I mean, I styled up this page a little bit, ability to download things. We've got a table here. We got some styling. We got the ability to edit this stuff with Markdown. We got this little button, this toggle button. And I think that's all we really added. So pretty cool. Thank you all so much for like letting me know I'm using CSS and not Sass. I can't believe I forgot that. Markdown. But yeah, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, join my Discord if you want to talk to me directly or ask other questions and try to get some help. I got a lot of people in my Discord who are willing to help you out if you get stuck. This video will be published after the stream at some point whenever YouTube decides to finish processing it. And yeah, I look forward to next Sunday. I try to stream on Sundays, and I'll just continue working on this. I do work on this a little bit in my spare time, so like next stream is not going to be a continuation on this. It's going to have its own, I don't know, I'll just probably just go through this huge to-do list and just try to work on some various features for you all. So if you guys are learning from me doing this, be sure to click that bell icon and stay in touch Sunday mornings around 9 Eastern, 8 Eastern, depends on when I get some time. But yeah, have a good day, you all. Thank you so much for staying tuned. Have a good day and happy coding.